Imagine this. It's late at night. You're home, or maybe even sleeping, or just relaxing after a hard day. Suddenly, knock, knock, knock at your front door. You open it, and there's a person in a police uniform. What do you say? What do you do? Because in just a few moments, your rights and your safety may be decided. In this video, I'll teach you the exact 5 words that can protect your rights at the door, and I'll show you a real case where failure to do so turned deadly. Why this matters. We tend to trust uniforms, badges, and official-looking vehicles. But how do we know that uniform isn't fake? How do we know that badge is not stolen? Every year, I represent people who just casually open their door and they make huge mistakes and allow law enforcement into their lives. Because here's the bottom line. Any word you speak at the door can be used to say you gave permission for law enforcement to come into your home. And in worst case scenario, it can be used to justify what would otherwise be an illegal entry or even worse. But let me share a chilling, real example. In June of 2025, a man in Minnesota impersonated a police officer and went door to door targeting lawmakers. He wore a uniform, a badge, and he used a car that looked exactly like a squad car. He even wore a mask to obscure his real face. He knocked at the home of these state lawmakers. Tragically, one lawmaker and her husband were shot dead. Another lawmaker and his wife were seriously wounded. That night, the assailant exploited the trust we place in uniforms and used it to take lives. If you assume someone in uniform is legitimate, especially when they're alone at your door, you could be setting yourself up for disaster. That's why boundaries matter. That's why you need these 5 words I'm going to teach you next. You know, moments like that Minnesota case remind us that preparation and knowledge are everything. It's not just about knowing what to say at your door. It's also about making sure your future is secure. In America, the 4th Amendment protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. It generally requires law enforcement to get a warrant before entering your home unless you consent. So here are the 2 big pillars. Number 1, with a valid warrant, entry is allowed, but even then, you don't have to talk. Pillar number 2, without a warrant, any entry must be voluntary, meaning it must come through your permission. That's where your words matter. Here are those 5 words, the word you should always say when police knock unexpectedly. I don't consent to searches. Say it calmly, say it clearly, say it politely. You don't have to be rude, but say it firmly. You can even say it again if needed. This phrase tells anyone at your door you are not giving permission them to come into your home. But you know what? Even one step better, you don't have to open your door for anyone. Not Girl Scouts, not door-to-door salesmen, not even the police. In fact, after the Minnesota case, I would not open my door for the police even if they claimed to have a warrant. I would likely call 911 and I would try to get dispatch on the phone to confirm people at my door actually were police. And I definitely would insist that they show me the warrant either through the door, through the window or something, but I would not be opening that door for police unless I knew 100% they were actually police, especially after that Minnesota case. But I also get it. Most people feel the need and want to engage with law enforcement who are knocking at their door. The rest of this video is for those people. Here's how you engage with the police knocking at the door. Scenario number 1, no warrant. In this scenario, the officer knocks, claims they want to talk or do a welfare check. They might smile, they might be polite. Someone might open the door a crack and start a conversation. Don't do that. Never fully open the door. Never let them in for just a second. Stand your ground, close the door if needed, and calmly repeat, I don't consent to searches. By doing that, you preserve your rights and you force them to show a warrant or leave. That's what we really want them to leave. Scenario number 2. If the officers produce a valid warrant, well, you can't stop them from entering. But again, you do not need to speak. You can request to see it. I would record the interaction on my phone, and then I would remain silent. I probably would say, I plead the 5th. I don't consent to any searches beyond that warrant, and I would be quiet. That's it. I'd say I want a lawyer. That's implied with I plead the 5th. Never volunteer extra information. Never argue. Never get aggressive. That's what they're hoping for. You get aggressive, they put you in some handcuffs for officer safety. And all of a sudden, they can try to pillage around some more of your home. Stay calm. It's not going to be fun to see them go through your home. But you want to look good on that body cam. You want to look like the reasonable person, not them. Scenario number 3. Sometimes there's no warrant. Instead, they'll ask casually, mind if I step inside? We just want to take a look. Could you open the door a little bit more? And the classic, we just want to make sure everything's all right and no one's in danger. I love it because I hear it all the time. These are attempts for you to grant consent subtly. Once you say yes, it's over. That's why you refuse consent every single time. And you say, I don't consent to searches. Now, tricky officers, if they're behind the closed door, they're going to say, I can't hear you. Open the door so I can hear you better. But once you open that door, anything they see, or more importantly, what they think they see, is fair game under the plain view doctrine. Keep that door shut and repeat, I don't consent to searches. 2 final tips. You want to record your interaction with law enforcement under any circumstance. You just want to. It protects you, keeps them honest, and it keeps things civil, I've seen most of the time. So if you see police knocking your door, whip out your camera. Keep your hands visible. You don't want them saying that you presented a danger to themselves because officer safety is paramount in the courts. But I would start recording immediately. Officer, I don't consent to a search. Please get off my property. Please leave. And then if they start saying warrant, stuff like that, have somebody else call. You can call too, but you want to record best you can that interaction. Tip number 2, you want to stay calm and be firm. Don't argue. Don't shout. Don't threaten. Your composure is your best defense. Sometimes in court, and it's not fun to say, things turn out to be a popularity contest, and people want to root for the hero. If you're being calm and collected, and the officer's being aggressive, well, sometimes you might get some sympathetic juries or judges who want you to come out the winner. So you want to look good on film. At least you want to look better than the officers. So here's the recap. We've covered the trust we place in uniforms and how that trust was exploited in Minnesota. Number 2, the legal basis for refusal and consent. Number 3, the 5 magic words. I don't consent to searches. Number 4, how to respond when there's a warrant and when there's not a warrant. This information in this video felt urgent. It's because I really do feel it is. Please do not open your doors for law enforcement. I wouldn't open doors for anybody I wasn't expecting. But if cops come to your door and you feel the need to interact with them, make sure they're police. Don't open that door. You can talk with them if you want to, but I probably wouldn't do that either. Now, if you've watched this far, you must like me at least a little bit. I sure would appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell, and also leave me a comment. I love comments. I literally read all the comments. Overwhelmingly, the comments are positive and make me smile. I literally wake up every morning and I'm drinking some coffee and I'm reading the comments. I literally have a giant smile on my face. I love my subscribers. I love my commenters. If you don't like me, fine, leave me a comment too. I can handle it. I got some thick skin. My mom raised me right. If you're charged with a crime in the great state of Indiana, give us a call, 317-632-3642. But most importantly, remember to always plead the 5th.